Good afternoon and welcome to another afternoon in the city of Chicago. It's the Grand Boulevard Coalition half-hour show. I'm the president of Grand Boulevard Coalition, William Penn, and I'm welcoming everybody to come back. I want to thank everybody who saw the rebroadcast with the Siberia last week. We rebroadcast one and actually had more people watch it the second time than the first time. But today's show, we're going to have twice as many people because we got a very great guest that I'm going to bring out in a second. But as always, I have to do my little housekeeping stuff. I would like to thank our sector partners, and let me read them off here for you. Center of Horizon, Institute of Positive Living, 35th Precinct Law Enforcement, Alderman Pat Dow, Lakita Johnson, IIT, Grand Harvest Church, Bronzeville Community Clubhouse, Dearborn Homes, Recovery 2000, Black Wall Street Journal, and Laurie's Children's Hospital. Before I bring my guests out, I wanted to make sure everybody know about our upcoming event. And to do that, I'm going to go and make sure everybody knows to hit us up on Twitter and follow us on Twitter at GBC Coalition. So that's Twitter at GBC Coalition. Don't forget Grand Boulevard Coalition for our Facebook page. We will be hosting or producing our very first webpage. And so when that comes out, we'll let everybody know. So when we get ready to get started, you guys will know. So before we're gonna bring our guest on in here now, and there she is. So, good evening, Dora.
Good evening. Hello, everyone.
I would like to take time out and introduce you to our audience. You are the co-founder and executive director of Chicago Recovery Community Coalition.
Yes, that's correct.
And an organization focused on providing prevention and intervention services to addicts seeking recovery.
Or in recovery.
Or in recovery.
That's correct.
Okay. And you are also a recovery coach and provider. Noxadil?
Yes.
Okay. Which you're going to explain. Crisis prevention training.
Yes.
And you are also a senior substance abuse counselor?
Yes.
Okay. And I just want you to know that I got a privilege of coming to one of your collaborative meetings.
Yes.
And when I was there, I said, you got to come on the show. And so I'm excited to have you here. And so without further ado, introduce yourself to the audience and maybe say a little more that maybe I forgot, because I know you're probably a wife and a mother and a grandmother and all that type of stuff. So let everybody know who you are.
Yes, I am. My name is Dora Dantzler Wright, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Chicago Recovering Communities Coalition. I'm also a person in long-term recovery, and I have worked in the field for over 25 years, and it's a pleasure to be here on the show with Grand Boulevard Coalition to talk about some of the efforts that we are working on in the community.
Great. Let's start. One of the things you're doing in the communities, as I provided or spoke earlier, was that you are a recovery coach and a provider of Noxadil. Hopefully I'm correctly pronouncing that.
Naloxone.
Naloxone, sorry about that. Crisis prevention training. What is that?
Well, what we do on the west side of Chicago is we want to assist with preventing overdose. Our mission for CRCC is to provide education for Chicagoland, and we are a nationally recognized RCO, which is a recovery community organization in the state of Illinois.
Okay. Let's speak on that, because you are looking for more people to join that coalition, like when I came out, and so we're sort of representing the Bronzeville and the South Side. So
Yes.
Let us explain a little more. When do you have your meetings? If somebody wants to give you a shout out to say, hey, I want to be a part of that or come to that, let's get that out the way.
Okay.
Let people know about that.
Chicago Recovering Communities Coalition was awarded a ROS grant. ROS, which is Recovery-Oriented Systems of Care. Our goal is to bring together community partners, business owners, in an attempt to put a face on recovery and show the communities about the collaborative efforts in a continuum of care to help people and their families recovering from substance use disorders. We started this organization in 2012, and our mission is to put a face on recovery and provide recovery support services to people in recovery or seeking recovery with substance abuse problems and their families. So often the families are left behind once the recovering person begins to recover.
Okay.
The Ross Council hopes to pull the continuum together so that the recovering person can have all the services needed. It's a network, it's a collaboration of services that are being provided in the community to serve the person who needs substance abuse treatment and who's also seeking other services once they get outside of treatment.
Okay. Now, did you speak on what is the purpose and how can other services providers, agencies, and stakeholders become involved with your organization and with that group? As I said, you invited me out to your meeting, and I was very excited, and I learned something on that particular day in the subject that I didn't know about. And I wanted other people to know about it, so I came back and posted on all my social media about it and want to get more excitement about it. And of course, have you join our coalition so you can come out to the Bronzeville and the South Side community and bring some of that good knowledge to us.
Okay. The West Side Ross Coalition meets every third Friday of the month, and we are looking for providers on the west side. This particular grant serves the west side of Illinois. So we have 13 communities, and there's a lot of prevention, treatment providers, business owners, and we want you to come out to the monthly meetings. Our next meeting is February the 15th, 2019. We have a small office located at 501 North Central. Our meetings are from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We host learning collaboratives, and we talk on a lot of different topics in an attempt to build a Ross Council on the west side. So we need your help. We need you to come out and support the meeting and support this effort.
Okay. Let's get off of that subject for a second, and let's talk about in our communities how it's so important for collaboration and networking. I think in any communities, but today with less money, less resources out there, having these larger collaboratives and organizations like yourself can help a one person not-for-profit to a two-man not-for-profit who's out there doing the same fight that you're doing, but probably needs some resources. So can you maybe talk a little more, because you're really a big component on collaboration and building coalitions, and maybe talk on that and why people who are out here listening should join and just be a part of coalition no matter where they live.
Right. The whole purpose of the council is to build a continuum of care. As service providers, we need to have a collective effort to work together to address addiction and mental illness.
Okay.
And to provide the full continuum of care where people can come together, entities can come together, businesses can come together also, so that we can service our community. In the Austin area, one of the highest overdose rates is right there in the Austin community. And it's real important that we come together and have the services there where people can know that the services are there in the community. So the continuum of care is really, really important in networking and bringing these services together.
Okay, that sounds real good. That's why I really enjoyed myself and really wanted to come and look forward to putting it on my calendar to be a repeat.
We look
person.
forward to having you.
One thing you just brought up that really struck me was the number of people who are needing of your service, and how you was just saying, I think you just gave a number, is one of the largest. Okay. Could you maybe say how did that have effect on the family? And better yet, how is that having an effect on that broader community over there where you're working in?
The community suffers the opiate epidemic and drug addiction. The communities begin to suffer because they don't know how to adequately service a person who is in recovery or seeking recovery. They are not able to identify where treatment services are, where prevention services are for the family, and once the individual gets into recovery, they're kind of left to find where the services are. Where do I go get help for the children? Now that the individual is recovering, what do I do about dad, or what do I do about the children? Addiction is a family illness, and our goal and our hope is to be able to treat the entire family as well as the individual that's recovering. So it's really important in our community for us to know where the services are. So let's bring the people together. Let's bring the providers together. Let's bring the service providers together. Let's bring the recovery homes together. The treatment providers. Let's get everybody at the table so that we can build that continuum and put that information out to where it's needed, and that's in our community. And we're hoping to do that at the center and invite people to come in if they need services, and then we will be able to refer them to the appropriate avenue. But we want to build that full continuum of care.
That sounds really good. And just let me remind people, we are live, so please call in if you have any questions for my guests or for myself. The number is 738-1060. Again, 312-738-1060. And I think I want to do a quick overhead and show your pamphlet where people who want to get some information can get.
We got the flyer for the monthly meeting if you want to.
Yep. Okay, let's see that. Sorry about that. There we go. So again, Austin Community Family Center at 501 North Central Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, and 60644. For more information, contact Dora, right? At 773-417-2045. Great, thank you. Usually at this point in the show, people come, there's pre-prepared questions that you kind of see in front. And but before we get to that, I think I got a caller. Good afternoon, caller. How you doing today?
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good.
I was calling to get some information about how to contact CRCC and what other activities do they have there for families. I know she did mention treatment, but, what else do you do?
Great question, Dora.
We can be contacted at 773-417-2045. We also have our web address, chicagorecovery.org. Currently at the center, we host monthly family night events. It's hosted once a month on Fridays. We also have naloxone trainings twice a month. And we also have women's trauma group that is scheduled on Mondays at 3 p.m. We have married men in recovery once a month on Sundays at the center. And you can call the phone number again, 773-417-2045, and inquire about other upcoming activities that we're hosting throughout the month.
Thank you, caller. Okay. As I was saying, sometimes, and that was great that we had a call, and that was good, even though she hopefully read by. I sent you questions so you kind of know what I was going to ask you, so I don't surprise people like some of those news reporters do. But I also know that there's a point or a message or something that you want to get out. And I know I don't want to do it right at the end to where it gets rushed. I want to give you this time as a little break to maybe get a message or get something out there that you definitely want to get out there. Unless my questions are hitting all the spots and there's really nothing else that you want to talk about or get out there. I have more questions for you, but I want to give you a chance to kind of lead and talk about something that maybe is on your mind.
One of the things that is on my mind, and thank you, William, for that, collaborations. As a community, we need to come together so that we can better serve the people who are in need. One of the biggest things, and this council got started in September of last year, and we're hopeful that we will get refunded. We want to build a continuum of care. We need you. We need the service providers. We need the business owners. We need to come together to make our community better. CRCC is one part of it, but you're the bigger part of it. So we need to come together, and we're asking you to join us at our monthly meetings. Bring your resources. Let's network together. Let's discuss and talk about how to make our community better.
That's right on point. That's right on point. Okay, so let's go back into the questions here. Since you've been doing it since September, and we're now in February, so if my math is halfway right, that's about 5 months?
Correct.
Well, that's pretty good. Okay. What are you missing? So you have certain people now hearing about you coming. So what are you missing? So maybe we give a call out saying, I need more business owners, or like you were saying, or more of the hospitals in that area. Or what, when you look at your broader coalition, you can see, I'm missing this in this coalition that needs to be there. Maybe we could talk about that, or
Yes.
or bring that up so we could let people know if they're in that arena that.
Absolutely. There's 3 components to this, or 3 areas of this that we would like to bring. We would like to bring more treatment providers to the table to be members of the council. The other part is we would like to bring the police department in also, because we realize that we need to educate people on how to get more Narcan, which is naloxone, out on the streets to prevent overdose. It's really important that we have a balanced scale of treatment providers, business owners, people in recovery, people with lived experience, so that we can build a sustainable council. That's the way that the council is going to survive and thrive. And one of the biggest parts that's missing at this point, we don't have, the West Side has a number of treatment providers at the table. We would like more treatment providers and more police officers.
Okay. Well, part of our coalition, which you're going to be a part of, we have the 35th Precinct Law Enforcement people. So I would definitely reach out in next week and see who would be their counterparts over in your community to come. Do you know what precinct are you off the top of your head? If not, don't worry about it. We'll get it.
Okay.
But we'll definitely reach out to ours to see who's
Okay.
their
Looking forward to
counterparts.
discuss it.
Who's their
Yes.
counterparts over there. And you service providers, anyone who's out there that works in that area, or if you're, let me try to get it right, recovering addict that has service being given to you,
Yes.
that thought they can use as added support, definitely bring that information to the table. And that phone number, the best way of reaching you again?
773-417-2045.
There we go. Okay. And that's the Austin Community Family Center at 501 North Central Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60644. I should know it's 606. All right, so let's see. Okay. Let's get into the bigger picture, which is on the news every day. I even think the president had mentioned it in his address the other night, opioids. Give us your thoughts about the national opioid crisis, or better yet, maybe we just boil it down to the Chicago opioid crisis. We worry about the national, but let's get in our backyard first and get it cleaned up, so to speak. And have you seen an escalation in use, overdose in Chicago and communities your organization serve?
Yes, we have. We've seen an increase in prescription drugs and in overdoses. We are right along what they call the 290 expressway, where it is the drug highway. And And like I mentioned earlier, the Austin community has one of the highest overdose rates in the city.
Okay. What do you think is causing that? Is it the community? Is it they're not able to get jobs? Is it pain? They're trying to run away from something? I mean, you talk to people, you being a coach. Do you ever ask people, like, why did you start using? And maybe,
Yes.
maybe from that perspective, tell us signs I can see, even with my children or when I'm out, that to try to help somebody before it gets too far down the road.
I think that, in my experience in working in the field for the last 20 years, there's a number of factors. But some of the biggest are the predisposition factors and the environmental factors. If we don't give people solutions to their problems, whether it's emotional, physical, or spiritual, they're going to seek solutions on their own. And in the environment that they live in, drugs and alcohol is so readily available. I think what we need to do is we need to teach people the detriments of alcohol and drugs early on, starting in the schools, the youth.
Oh, there you go.
So that they will know the detriments of it. So it's real important that we look at those things and be available to provide the help that's needed.
Oh, you hit it right on it. And being that's our coalition, in which is teaching the youth not to use, and we, as our model, most youth don't use. But I think there might be something there when we should
Absolutely.
have a big summit coming up that I'll be mentioning that you'll definitely be a part of. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Caller, I'm so sorry for ignoring you. How are you doing this afternoon? What can we do for you?
And how y'all guys doing? I'm going to try to make this quick because I know you're going to be getting off in a few.
Yes,
but
sir.
let me tell you something. Drugs don't walk to people. People walk to drugs. People who want drugs is going to find drugs. And the drugs is right there in your community, right there in your home, right there in the car. Everybody on that block will know who's selling drugs. So it's a community thing also. Now, it ain't like how it used to be in the old days where you had a village. Some people are scared to say things, but form block clubs. If you call caps, sometimes you got to play hard, give hard love up, even if it's your own. You got to stop it, because if not, what it's going to do, it's going to kill people, and then eventually you got a great chance of even losing your house for having the drugs in your house. So again, it's a community thing. Everybody on the neighborhood know who's doing things, who have things. So the thing is, like you say, the highway, they go back. The white kids come into the black neighborhood, get their drugs, hit their highway, and go back. Now what they're doing now, you see they open up these funding places for them. They're trying to help them to get off of it. But yet and still, it's still in our black neighborhoods. Listen, let me get out there, hear your response. I mean, we talking about something that's been going on for 1,000 years, even before we was all born, and it's
That's
still
true.
going on, and it's even worse than it was now. So again, you be talking your heart out until we could start doing something. Thank you for taking the call here, partner. You always have a good show. I'm sorry I caught you late, but let me get out there so I can hear your response. And thanks for taking the call.
Thank you. Yes. Would you like to?
That is absolutely why we're in the community. CRCC could have went in any community, but one of the things I really believe is that we need to be in the communities where the problem is, and we are in the community. We're located at 501 North Central, and we are inviting CAPS, and we're inviting providers in. We're offering business owners an opportunity to come in so that we can build a council and deal with the problem right in the community, because that's where we are, right in the community. So you were absolutely right about the community.
Great. Well, as he said, he knows my schedule better than I know my schedule. We're here in the last 30 seconds of this wonderful thing. Was there anything else in the last few seconds you want to maybe say
Just join us. This is a collaborative effort. We are pleased that the state and the officials recognize the need to build a council to deal with the epidemic of substance use and alcoholism in our community. So we invite you out to come out to our monthly meetings, and please give us a call, 773-417-2045.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week.